All right, folks, we're back in. Unfortunately, after little brother slayed the big brother, they won the battle, but not the war. Right? Is that the term, Gary? But yeah, we got a lot to talk about. It's kind of cool because I hate when they lose, but normally when they lose 3-2, we have nothing to talk about, and it's just dreadful. I actually wrote down note after note. I don't know why today. I just felt like there was a lot of noteworthy things, and there were some things that were kind of rearing its ugly head that I think could cause, or at least be a cause of concern. Obviously, in the prompt, the title that you see, do the Yankees have a clutch gene? That is going to be something we definitely talk about. That's something that's starting to rear its ugly head. The Yankees have essentially I would say they have the textbook, like if you were to build a Yankees win just out of thin air and you were to talk about it, the Yankees have one inning where everything, like it's the momentum, they put up the crooked number, and then their bullpen is strong enough to really fend off the rest of the game. And they normally get, and that's one thing you can say, we've been talking about how starting pitching is a concern. Yeah, the lack of depth is. The starting pitching has been outstanding when you really think about it from the grand scheme of things. Clark Schmidt didn't look amazing today. He walked 5 batters, but he only gave up 2 runs and gave them a chance, gave them length, and the Yankees should have won this game. So we'll get into it. But Gary, first thoughts here. The Yankees, watching these games, do you agree how really kind of the secret sauce, the formula for a Yankees win this year has really been to just get off to a nice lead, whether it's the 5th or 6th inning, maybe it's the 3rd time through the order for a starting pitcher, or they blow up the bullpen, and then really kind of the bats kind of dwindle down the stretch, and really it doesn't matter because they've built up enough of a lead, 3-4 runs, and the bullpen just comes in and shuts it down? Or do you think maybe I'm overblowing it here? Because today it's not just today. It starts to pile on when you watch it time after time again. It just feels like the Mets did all the little things in the top of the 9th that the Yankees just could not do for the life of them.
Sure. So I'm trying to figure out if we're the Yankees or we're like the Baltimore Ravens. There's clearly a blueprint for how we win games. And by the way, I don't want this to sound negative because it's very clearly not. Mm-hmm. The Yankees just have a certain style that they're going to play. They're going to get out to a lead after 5 innings, and obviously Clark Schmidt today, he went 6+ innings. That's the three straight starts. He's never done that his whole career, which is shocking, by the way. And at that point, the Yankees did a whole bunch of, they honestly did a lot, right? Obviously, you had hard contact from DJ LeMahieu with the bases loaded, turned into nothing, right? There were a ton of plays, like multiple, 3 or 4, where Cody Bellinger was the best player on the field today. He was great.
Oh, yeah.
He did everything. He and getting LeMahieu. Caroms off the wall, hitting cutoff men to Volpe, who ends up gunning a guy at the plate. He was hitting homers. He was running the bases. He was doing everything. And it's a shame that we didn't end up winning this game because I really wanted to talk about all of those positive things that happened. We'll do it anyway. But the Yankees clearly have a certain way that they want to win. And I'll tell you, that way has nothing to do with being down in the 8th or 9th inning, having some of your best hitters come up. And I'm going to be honest. I've said time and time again that Aaron Judge is the best hitter of this generation. There's not even a close second, and that's with a world with Shohei Ohtani in it, right? And yet, when Aaron Judge came up to the plate there in the 9th inning against Diaz, I didn't even feel like it was an opportunity for us, and that's saying a lot, I feel, because you have to remember Aaron Judge today went 0 for 5 with 3 Ks, right? Obviously, this happens in baseball. But how often does it happen to Aaron Judge? Never. It never happens. Aaron Judge, someone go show me, when was the last time you saw Aaron Judge go 0 for 5 with 3 punchies? And you're probably going to be hard-pressed, A, to find that, and B, it's probably going to be a postseason game, a game where you really need his output. Today is considered a big regular season game. If you had to pencil in which games do the Yankees really want to win, and you're probably going to circle the Mets. We want to take care of them. There's obviously there's a power struggle here in New York where the Yankees clearly are going to try and impose their will, show that Brian Cashman made some nice pickups with Goldschmidt, with Fried, and overall as a team, we're still the better unit than the Mets, is what the Yankees want to portray. That's a big series for the Yankees. And Aaron Judge didn't do anything today. They obviously needed him to be, and he came up there in the 9th inning. You want to see something. We didn't get that. So, yeah, to answer the question about clutch gene, do I think the Yankees are clutch? No, I don't. I do not. But I'm happy about how this game transpired throughout 1 through 8. Innings 1 through 8, I thought the Yankees did a lot to win the game. The one thing that they're missing, hitting with runners in scoring position. They were 0 for 6 today. You're not going to win any games like that. And obviously, the good news here, we've got another baseball game tomorrow. They win that game, we're going to essentially be talking about winning a series against the Mets, and then we move on. But obviously, you would have liked to win this one today.
Yeah, and a big reason why you want to beat the strong ones is because you're supposed to beat the weak ones. And the Yankees next week, they start their series with the Colorado Rockies at the end of the week. That needs to be a sweep. But more importantly, when you win these games, these are games that are kind of a coin toss, right? Yep. When you go up against the Rockies, you're expected to win 85% of the time, maybe more, right? Because the Rockies have like 7 wins. But these are the important ones as well, because these are ones that, again, they're a coin flip, and you win a game like this, and now you've taken care of the hard stuff, and the easy stuff is left on your plate, and that's a good sign. I agree with this from Jordan, by the way. B-Boss absolutely should have bunted. And this is not the first time I've talked about situational bunting. And Boone is not a guy that doesn't bunt. So it's a little frustrating. There are some things we could talk about the negative to start, and then I think we'll leave the positive to after that.
That's fair.
Because I have quite a few things I want to bring up. We'll start with the bunting, and then also, because I know you probably want to talk about this as well, and you actually mentioned this, whether this was via text or tweet, they're starting to blend in. I don't remember, but Juan Soto stealing now 2 days in a row. They're just not holding these guys on. They're not even attempting a throw. I think this is a little bit, it's not quite what we saw with the Red Sox stealing like 8 bases against, Trevino, but it is starting to be a problem. And the problem here is that other teams are going to pick up on this. They do watch video. They might not sit there and watch every single at bat or every single, stolen base or whatever, but teams are going to get really catch on to this, Gary. The Yankees do play the Mets again in this first half of the year. And so this is a concern, because if you put this out there, there's going to be teams like when the Red Sox put it out there, hey, we can steal against Jose Trevino. That instantly became an Achilles heel for the Yankees. So I am worried about that, because the way you described it is perfect. That's not a run if he doesn't move over, right? So that steal turns that play into a run instead, where he wouldn't have scored on that. So stolen bases aren't just, they're cool stats. They matter. They set up runs, and that was a frustrating thing.
Yeah, and to address this super chat, Jordan, thank you for the 2, says Boone obviously not bunting Vivas hurt us a lot, and I wanted to reread that, because if you think about it, there's 2 choices. You can either choose to bunt, right, which is considered giving up the at-bat for someone behind me to set up a better situation. Or the second choice, and this is the choice they obviously went with, which is to let B-Boss swing away. So you have to weigh those 2 options and genuinely think that B-Boss swinging the bat is the best thing for the Yankees in that moment. And I just don't see how you can arrive at that conclusion. Obviously, I don't know the validity of this, but the Break Studio brings us in about this quote from Aaron Boone. He was asked about that decision, choosing not to bunt with Yorbeat, and he said that the Yankees lacked speed on the bases, and the Yankees were playing against it aggressively. Now, okay, the Break, thank you for bringing that up to our attention, but the one thing I want to say is you mentioned the aggressiveness of the Mets on the bases today, and there was not one name that you provided that you would consider fast. Juan Soto played the entire season, 2024, with the Yankees. At any point, people called him generational. They called him a great player. They said he'd get $800 million, $700 million. Do you ever remember anyone calling him fast? I don't. Do you ever remember when Pete Alonso was when he was a free agent this offseason, and people decided, and they said, You think they're going to go get Paul Goldschmidt? Is it Christian Walker, right? Is it going to be Pete Alonso on a shorter deal? Do you ever remember anyone saying Pete Alonso because he's fast? He gives us an opportunity to be aggressive on the bases. You never heard that, did you? And yet, the Mets showed up in this game with a clear game plan. We are going to take the extra base. Why? You saw a situation with Juan Soto. He's sitting at second base. Obviously, a runner behind him. He steals third base on Clark. And then the very next hitter, that hitter, hits a fly ball out to left field. It turns into a run. It cost us the game today. So, and then here's the funny part. Pete Alonso finds his way to second base. He's almost picked off trying to go to third base. That should tell you everything you need to know. The Mets are not waiting to have an opportunistic situation where they've got basically a barn burner on the base pass to make the correct decision. B-Boss should have bunted. I think it's as simple as that. There should be no remixes to it. He's not experienced enough in that situation to do anything else. And obviously it cost us in the moment. Thought the Yankees were sort of waiting for the big hit. It's not how we usually win games. So not here to say that the Yankees shouldn't expect themselves to get that big hit, but man, when it's one of those days, which you detected that in the fourth or fifth inning, Jake, it's going to be one of those days. It's difficult for you to just say, let's wait for DJ to come through for us in the seventh or eighth inning. I thought that was a wild decision.
Well, also, Gary, you might not have thought of it like this, but this is how I looked at it. B-Boss is playing 7 innings every game. He never plays all the way through it. They always bring in defensive replacement at the end of the game. They bring in Peraza, and they pinch hit him for a Grisham or a Wells or somebody. So my issue is you have to think of it like that. It's the bottom of the fifth. You're down 2-1. You got 2 guys on, nobody out. Rice and Judge are up next. Bunting is a no-brainer. And if you do that, like normally you'd be like, oh, it's not that late in the game. For B-Boss, it is. Like, bottom of the fifth is probably one of the last innings he's going to play in.
That's extra innings for him.
So that's kind of how I looked at it. Is like, typically people are like, bunting that early on, it's harder to make an argument. Like, normally it's a later game thing. I get that. But this is a later game thing for B-Boss. Again, if you look, he only plays about 7 innings every time he starts. So
what inning was that when the
bottom of the fifth?
It's the bottom of the fifth. At that point, you should be able to just read the tea leaves and say, this is going to be a game down to the wire. You shouldn't have to look at it and say, well, it's not the 8th or 9th inning. Well, for the Yankees, and when they tend to win games, like when they tend to take leads versus not, it's like the 4th or 5th inning. If it's 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, you should be able to figure out this game. The difference between this game is going to be 1 or 2 runs. So when you get in that situation, Jake, you mentioned when your beat kind of comes out of those games. That's true. But at the same time, you mean to tell me as a manager, and mind you, this is just criticism. This isn't me saying he's just the worst manager ever, but man, did it take a genius to figure out in the 4th or 5th inning today that it was going to be a 1-run game? I feel like you didn't need me to say it. It was a playoff game, a divisional game. Obviously, it wasn't in division, but you get the point. When there's 2 teams that do not like each other, the game's going to end up being close. That usually tends to be the difference. So, yeah, Jeff J with the super. Jeff, thank you for the super with the 10. Says, Canning kept the offense, I agree with this, off balance all game. And Schmidt was fine. Booney needs to play with urgency. Why Cruz and not Williams? Why wasn't Grisham left in after the pinch hitter? We heard the broadcast sort of introduce why that happened. They did want to get Jason Dominguez that at bat. Later in the game, we did end up seeing it. I think he actually drew a nice walk. He had a pretty nice at bat, but I could agree with you there. It says, need not to waste Max's start. So I'm gonna start off at the top here because I do feel that Schmidt and Canning deserve a lot of credit for what they did. Now, we'll start with Schmidt. He did not have his command. You get the 5 walks, but he battled. That's something that we actually just saw with Rodon. These type of starts, those gutsy starts where you don't like the way it looks, but you look up at the scoreboard and you still get the results, the offense is still responsible, that's all you can ask for. And Schmidt technically is still a 3 or 4 starter in this rotation, And Canning did an excellent job.
Oh,
Every
yeah.
single time, Jake, every time, they said Judge is probably going to be spun. And mind you, I'm not picking on the broadcast. I thought they were accurate with what they were saying. They said Judge should probably be looking breaking ball here. Probably be looking breaking ball. What do you get? Heaters.
Yep.
Very next at bat, well, he's not afraid. Canning has one of the better fastballs. They did adjust his release. You need to be ready for the fastball. What do you see then? Breaking balls and changeups. The game plan was all over the place with how to go after Judge. Clearly it worked, so you got to give the Mets some credit. Yeah, Jeff, pretty impressive performance from both these guys.
I agree. Thank you, Jeff J. Appreciate you. And I would say that last Grisham part, I think it's fair. I definitely think it's fair. Dominguez is not a straight off liability in left field anymore. He's not I saw him at a spring training game and he had 3 horrendous plays. And it was all in the course of 2.5 innings. But I'll tell you right now, Dominguez is not that same player. That doesn't make him an above average fielder. And it's funny because I texted you, man, that one defensive play, we'll talk about it a little bit more, but the relay, right? The huge play that I was saying, I was like,
that was a bummer.
last year, man, that would have been the game. But in reality, I don't think it would have, because I think Verdugo actually would have caught that ball. I was thinking about that afterwards. I'm like, I think Verdugo catches that baseball. Because say what you will about Verdugo's bat, but I feel like Verdugo would have been in better positioning. I do think Jason Dominguez finds himself flat-footed very often, and I feel like when you have that level of athleticism, we see it on the base paths, I don't feel like that always translates to the field the way you would expect it to. And it's why it's more than just having athleticism. You have to be in the right position. I don't think Bellinger is a better athlete than Jason Dominguez, but watch Bellinger. It's the little things. It's especially, we'll never know, but I do think Bellinger puts a way more accurate throw with way better velocity and honestly has more of a bang-bang play at home. If, as the broadcast brought up, and that was the first thing I was thinking, well, Jason Dominguez is just sitting there like it's, Babe Ruth, and, he's just standing flat-footed. Bellinger's I can't crow hop this ball. He couldn't just come
pissed
into it. And you could tell he was not happy. But those are the little things that you pick up over the course of time playing in the league. And Cody Bellinger is a vet. He knows how to play a baseball. That's why when the ball caromed off the wall, I wasn't surprised he was there. He knows how to back up his fielder. This is why backing up guys is so important. And this is something that Juan Soto supremely struggled at last year, right? And Judge did a nice job of backing him up. But you see it with, in my opinion, you saw it with Cody Bellinger today, because Cody Bellinger has what we call feel. He has feel for playing in the outfield that Jason Dominguez does not have at this point. He'll probably acquire that, but Gary, that one play in particular, I just felt like, I understand it's a hard catch. People look at that and it's a line drive, it's hit hard. He was not in the best position, and that's why it even fell, and we had to have that relay. So that's where I'm at on him. I don't think he's a bad fielder, but I don't think he's good. I think he's average. I think he's worked his way up to average, and I think he still needs to develop a level of feel in the field. And for that reason, I absolutely agree with Jeff J. Why wasn't Grisham in left field after the pinch hit? Because you need him late in the game like that. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not upset necessarily about what Jason Dominguez clearly is not great at. He's going to make mistakes. There's a reason that there are still teams in this league that pay $10, $12, $13 million to guys like, and I know he's having somewhat of a resurgent offensive year, but guys like Harrison Bader, right? Just gloves that you throw out there and people say, geez, just for defense. But when you got guys in the lineup strictly just because of their bat, you need to take everything that comes with that player. And unfortunately, sometimes you can't look at a guy like Shaquille O'Neal and be like, hey, but he doesn't shoot free throws well. It's like, well, he's not in there to shoot free throws. That's the thing about Jason Dominguez. He's not in there for his glove. In a one-run game, if you're going to look up at a postseason game and it's 2-2, and you're going to say, well, scorching line drive out to the gap, Jason Dominguez is not your guy. He's not going to be a player that you're wanting to be in that situation. Does he have the athleticism to make a play in there? Absolutely. It's something that Aaron Boone's mentioned plenty of times. He has all the tools physically to do the job, but there's a lot of mental stuff that goes into playing defense. And you mentioned Cody Bellinger and what he does. Yeah, it's obvious. It pops off the screen. When he's not hitting, yeah, it's very difficult to make these small decisions that help the team win. But you see when Cody Bellinger's hitting, he's sort of everywhere. He's getting line drives off the wall. Left fielder misses it. Obviously, you saw that happen in real time. Cody Bellinger reads the hop perfectly, straight to him, hoses a ball straight to Volpe. You end up getting the runner by a step at the plate. It could have been the difference in this game. So when people talk about the Yankees, and I saw it in the chat, we brought up the record, and I'm going to put it up there as soon as I find it. Jake, actually, if you could find it, I'm not sure. It was about the Yankees in one-run games. Our record is 5-10. So that should sort of tell you that, in general, this team is not built, in terms of what they do well, to win those close games. We could win close games, certainly, if we're leading going into the 8th or 9th inning, because we do have some arms that we trust. Guys like Cruz, they're normally not as bad as he was today. I thought, obviously, his command was not good at all. And in the break studio with the super, thank you for the 2, sis. Thank you guys for what you do, fellas. Appreciate you both. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. And I talked to Rocky Sullivan today. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, I can't remember where. I was trying to look where I saw this. But he was letting us know he was trying to drop a super yesterday, during yesterday's show. Wasn't able to do it until I think we were done. But Rocky Sullivan, thank you for doing that and supporting this channel. We really appreciate it. He says, as promised, fellas, awesome podcast. Yeah, we've got a great audience. We do.
We do.
So
we do. And who was the one that had? I want to give props here.
Oh, Christopher.
Yeah, Christopher had the home run for DJ LeMahieu.
Is Christopher in the chat? Because, I mean, I would love to put him up on the screen. You never know who can make it to the live broadcast. Obviously, they can see this after the fact, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I believe this is...
And there's Christopher.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume this is Christopher. He's a member of ours.
One day reply. I don't know. I don't know what that means.
He's talking like Rihanna. I'm not really sure. What? Jean Paul. But anyway.
No.
Cody Bellinger does the little stuff. The Yankees
does.
clearly, as a unit, we don't do enough of the little stuff. But I will say, in all fairness here, in positivity, I'm trying. Babe Ruth reporting. Love this. The GIF was great. So that line drive from DJ, if that sprays the gap, we're probably having a totally different conversation about the Yankees in terms of their clutch gene. We probably just choose not to talk about it today. But overall, yeah, the Yankees they do struggle to execute offensively when it really matters.
Well, and then by the way, there was another, because I didn't think Boone was horrendous managing this game. Like, I know they lose and everybody's like, Boone's terrible. But I thought people were justified in getting upset about the bunt. But you know what was actually really surprising to me? Escar had a great at-bat in that bottom of the 5th. No doubt about it. Worked the count full. And then he was really patient, and he took a pitch that I didn't even think he would take. When I saw that ball coming in, I was like, oh, he's going to swing at that. And he took it. And then LeMahieu singled after that. And then, of course, we had the B-Boss strikeout and all that. But later on, Escara comes up to the plate with, is it the bases loaded or there was 2 guys on, and he grounds into that fielder's choice. Oh, that was when Dominguez came in, because they already had given him the sign, you were running on contact.
Yes, they did.
And I don't know why Escara is in there, because it's the bottom of the 6th. I would have pinch hit probably for him. I would have gone with probably Austin Wells in that case. I'm not saying Austin Wells would have hit better, but...
Well, I just would have liked Jason Dominguez. If you're going to go, if your third base coach, which, mind you guys, this was communicated before the play, like before any contact, the coach is going to say, hey, Jason, hey, Dom, ball on the ground, you're going. We're going contact. All right. Well, guess what? If you're going on contact and the ball's on the ground, what do you know about yourself? You have to beat the throw home. So what does that tell you? Well, I should probably get a better secondary off of third base. Jason Dominguez got no secondary to speak of. If you go watch this play, and if you don't want to, you don't have to.
I didn't look at the slide either.
I mean, the slide is, I guess, besides the point. He was going to be out anyway. You need a better jump off of third base. Jason Dominguez flies. We've talked about the speed. But there's more to base running than just speed. There's more to base running than just stealing a base from first to second. There's also what type of secondaries, what type of jumps do you get? When you're going on contact, you should actually be getting further off of third base just in case a ball is hit on the ground. And in that situation, it was. So there were like 4 or 5 plays in this game. You can't play perfect baseball, certainly. But in certain ways, you can't look up at the scoreboard and be like, well, we kind of fudge that play. I got in Cody Bellinger's way on that one, and then look up and expect to win a game. To some degree, when you make these tiny mistakes, they fester, and you look up and, we lost that one 3-2. We probably should have had that one. And now you go into tomorrow, and it's a huge momentum boost if you win, and it's a major downer if you lose. So you put the pressure on yourself. We made our bed. Now let's go unmake it.
So I have to talk about it. I haven't seen it brought up in the chat. It really infuriated me earlier in the game when I don't remember the exact point. I should have wrote that down. I was just so mad. I was like, umpire F's up. You should see my my notes are like.
What was the play? Because I missed it.
Yes. So the Yankees got screwed over on a double steal. Volpe went to third, and was it Dominguez went to second, or someone went to second.
Okay.
Someone in our chat will probably tell us the inning and make it like better for me. But essentially in that moment, they had the double steal, and then they took the double steal away because they said that the catcher, even though he wasn't going to get Volpe, the catcher hit or took like a little piece of the umpire. He hit him on the follow through. So the umpire said, go back.
So he said that essentially I was obstructing the play.
Yeah. So because I fucked up, you guys lose 2 stolen bases.
Well, I'm glad I missed it.
So bad, dude. I honestly, I got so pissed when I saw that I had to. I try not to curse as much. I know there are probably some younger viewers now and whatnot, but that moment pissed me off so much I had to explain my frustration because
I've never seen that.
I've never seen anything like that. And again, we're pro robo umps. So I just hate the guy behind the plate. Like I just assume he's going to be bad. I didn't think he was horrendous today. It was kind of funny because normally it's like, yeah, occasionally you get those calls that are like maybe not in the zone, but like Wells does a nice job of framing them. They didn't get those calls today. But my thing is, I can't be upset. I just want a strike to be a strike. I don't necessarily need the framing job. I'm not going to sit there and complain at a ball that's not in the strike zone because there were people like that. He's not giving us that call. No. We're not doing that. We're not playing that game. But that was horrendous because you messed up and then the Yankees paid for it. So that pissed me off because I really hated that. And then it was the whole like LeMahieu didn't get out of, he didn't get out of the way. And he just said basically, yeah, because the guy that was throwing made contact with the umpire made contact with the guy throwing, it's automatically a dead ball and it's considered it's considered umpire's interference. And so the previous play, having the double steal, which worked, you have to go back. I hated that.
Yeah, I guess I just don't understand because I think I get it if you run into the umpire and it causes you to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Like it causes you to throw the ball over the left field wall, then yeah. But that also disallows anything good to happen for the offense. So
it's like what you were saying. I could just stick my bat out a little bit further if I know I'm not going to get a hit and be like, oh, I made contact with the glove.
Well, Michael Kay has been saying that. Michael Kay.
Yeah.
I think Michael Kay has probably brought this point up more than any other point of his entire career, and I think it's true. I really do. Why don't players, especially if you stink, why don't you just go up there and try to draw catcher's interference? And everyone thinks, well, no one's going to agree that I'm just not good, but who said I'm asking you to do it? I'm telling you to do it as a manager. You're not good. You hit 8th for the Angels. Go up there and draw contact with the catcher, right? I think that probably should happen. And obviously we used to laugh about Jacoby Ellsbury. He used to do this all the time. He'd just swing when the ball's in the glove, and he'd go over to first base. So, yeah, obviously you don't want the umpire to have any impact. I don't think the umpire changed the outcome of this game. I think the Yankees obviously Cruz in his performance that you saw there. He had no control at all. Jake, you texted to me. No control. He had no idea where the ball was going. And when you don't throw strikes out of the bullpen, if you're going to work one inning of work, well, you come out and you're not in the strike zone. It doesn't matter how good your secondary stuff is. We know how good his splitter is. He was throwing it. It's not very good when you're behind 2-0 to Francisco Lindor. Eventually, when the count dictates and it's 2-0, that's going to choose essentially what you can throw for you. You no longer on the offensive, and surely enough, we get contact out to left field. And by the way, I want to bring up this super because I think the answer is absolutely yes. Jordan Richard with a super with a 5. Thank you for that, Jordan. Says, how did you guys feel about Bellinger being upset at Dominguez, not giving him space to make a complete throw at home on the Lindor sac fly? So we just got to that part of the conversation. I wanted to at least give some context here.
Yeah, appreciate you, Jordan.
But Jordan, it's perfectly okay to get pissed off at your teammates. It is. It just is. Remember, we saw this last year, and did we love it when we saw it, right? Marcus Stroman, he gets a ground ball. Gleyber Torres doesn't throw the ball the way that he would have liked to. We don't get the out, and he's like, throw the effing ball, brother. Throw the ball. And at the time, mind you, I was saying the exact same thing when Gleyber wasn't throwing that ball. Now, I'm not his teammate, so it's a little different here, obviously.
Yeah.
But you get the point. If you forget to take the trash out, your spouse is allowed to get pissed at you. That doesn't mean they hate you and don't want you around. They can get mad at you. So, yeah, I think it's perfectly okay. Cody Bellinger wants to win. Everyone wants to win, and Jason Dominguez made a mistake. Get out of my way.
And Bellinger, I thought, and that's actually where, because I remember us talking about that, and I said I disagreed with the way Marcus Stroman did that. I don't think you should have made that clear as day and showed that type of emotion. I thought Bellinger handled it way better. You know, you could tell he was frustrated, but he's talking to him. And then after the game, they panned the camera into the dugout, and he's still talking to him, and that to me is a teaching moment because it is a veteran basically taking under, this kid under his wing. I mean, he's a young kid, essentially. He's, 23? So I had no issue with him saying that. But I wanted to give him props for the way he handled it because that was a big spot, and I wouldn't have been surprised if he just flipped out like Marcus Stroman did, but he didn't, and I thought that was the better way to handle it. Bellinger, by the way, has a 12-game hitting streak now. His home run was actually the last run the Yankees scored in that game, and that to me was really frustrating because I think they actually, in a way, went away from what was working and how they won the game yesterday. There were no home runs in the game yesterday. They played small ball. They found ways to win. And today it felt like there were quite a few players that were swinging for the fences, especially late in the game. And I did feel like Judge was kind of swinging for the fences there. I didn't see the same approach that we've seen. Now, again, bad day. You're 0 for 4 going into that at bat. And I think he's just trying to kind of get it all back with one swing. But yeah, it just didn't feel like the same team today offensively. It just didn't. But DJ LeMahieu, I definitely want to talk about because I did mention that I thought that he was going to start, before he came back and everything. I had my concerns. At the same time, though, I said, well, what if he does end up being a good example of this is look at what Goldschmidt's doing at 37. What if LeMahieu does get out of kind of this dry spell of these injuries and, he's able to start hitting? I didn't say he would do that, but I was kind of thinking And right now, LeMahieu looks really good, guys. I'm just saying, and I have the stats here to back it up from Baseball Savant. Thank God for them. They make it a lot easier to talk about some of these players. LeMahieu has 6 barreled balls. A barrel is considered a 95 mile an hour or more on the exit velocity. He's done that 6 times. He has a hard hit percentage last year Last year, his hard hit percentage was 37.6, and he had an average velo of 88.5. He looks different. He just does. And he's hitting the ball. They're hard line drives. He hit the home run today. Even the ground balls were they were hit hard, Gary. I'm not saying that this is going to just magically turn him around, but these are some indications that I brought up when we were talking about Ben Rice. I was like, it's one thing to have a barreled ball here and there, hit 110 mile an hour off the bat, but when you start doing it consistently, and Ben Rice had ones 113, 114, 117, I'm like, I think that's going to translate. And for DJ, I think really the glove looked good today at second. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make that play on Beatty, but that was a great stop by him.
It was.
I thought he showed some good, some good range. And it's funny the way they talk about him, because today they're like, yeah, he's probably going to have to play third when Jazz comes back. Jazz is not even in my lineup until he starts actually playing well, because Oswald Peraza is a better glove currently than anybody at third. He is their best glove at third. And DJ LeMahieu, if he keeps this up, that was some really good defense today, coupled with the bat. Why would Jazz play over any of them if Jazz isn't hitting? Because at that point, if Jazz isn't hitting, I'm not moving DJ to third, and I'm not taking Peraza out of the lineup for Jazz when they're about the same hitting-wise, but Peraza is a better fielder at third. Why would I do that if Jazz isn't hitting? So I think that's the thing. We'll cross that bridge when we cross it, and apparently he is getting closer. But, man, I got to say, this is a really good problem to have. If DJ is back to even half of what he was, I mean, he was horrendous last year. Horrendous. And
can I ask you a question about DJ, though?
Yeah, of course.
Was DJ LeMahieu, and mind you, this is not an excuse, so keep that in mind. I'm going to qualify this statement with this. Was DJ healthy in 2024?
No.
Was he healthy in 2023, 2022, 2021?
No. I think what was the tail end of 2022? Was the last time he was genuinely healthy?
Perfect. And also, that tells you right there, he was playing banged up. We were hearing about the foot. We were hearing about the ankle. We were hearing about his ribs, his back, a knee. He got a cortisone shot just a few weeks ago, right, for a hip. So part of it is that the Yankees in the past didn't have nearly enough depth. And when I say depth, I don't mean depth of great players. I mean depth of you have a genuine option over there. You can choose to put another player to play ahead of him in DJ LeMahieu. DJ LeMahieu right now, the majority, not everybody, majority of our comment section, and that includes you and I, Jake, we said DJ LeMahieu shouldn't be in the field. And we used the context of what's happened over these last 4 years to determine that. But one factor nobody talks about is that in years past, DJ LeMahieu was the option that we had to have out there. So he would constantly play through stuff. And you know what, Jake? He's not very good when he's playing through these injuries. He never has been. He's good when he's healthy. The last time he was healthy for the Yankees, and that was like 4 or 5 years ago, he was good. He was great for this team. Now, when he's healthy, is he going to be great for this team? Probably not. We're talking about a player now, 37, almost 38 years old. So obviously this is a different brand of a player in his career, different stage. But DJ LeMahieu, when healthy, given the roster options the Yankees have, they can just play somebody else if they want to. I think that will help DJ manage his health throughout the season, where he's not going to be this great player for us. But if we can get league average from DJ LeMahieu for a couple weeks, there's value to that, especially when you're missing a guy like Jazz Chisholm, who obviously a lot of us expect to be a lot better by the middle or end of the season. So DJ LeMahieu does, at this point, given the injury that just happened with Cabrera, he's got a role, whether or not we like that or not. And it's just a matter of after the deadline, what his role materializes as after that. So, yeah, I never in my life thought DJ would be taking solid at-bats in May of 2025. I'll be honest, I didn't. But as of now, you just sort of ride that wave, and he's not going to hit third, but he's at the bottom of the lineup. He takes his at-bats. If you need him at third base a day, he can do that. You need him at second base, much more likely. You throw him at second base, he can field. He can, obviously, we know what he can do in the clutch. He's had some clutch at bats for the Yankees over the years. So, yeah, I'm not waiting around for DJ LeMahieu to save the day. I'm waiting him to save league average. And if he can do that, I'll take it.
I agree. And that's all you're asking for him to do. The home run is extra. Like, I wasn't expecting him to hit a home run today. That was huge. But no, I like his at-bats. I thought, again, just the ball's jumping off his bat. Like, even the ground ball was like 106 off the bat. So, and then the line drive, I mentioned this to you, is the 5th hardest hit of the day. That's baseball. Like, Beatty, he makes a nice play on Beatty, and he's safe. So he makes a great save with the glove, and he just can't get the transfer, and he's safe. That thing probably was like 70 miles an hour off the bat. And LeMahieu hits it 107 right at somebody in the outfield. That's just the way, sometimes that's the way it is. I mean,
we had good contact today in general. I mean, Paul Goldschmidt came up.
That's
man on first base.
I guess that's my thing. These do tend to, if you do this every game, it will go in your favor eventually. So
usually
the clutch thing, it sucks. I didn't like the at-bats towards the end of the night. I didn't, but I thought for the most part, yes, there was a lot of contact. Goldschmidt struck out once, but like that dude's just hitting it at guys, and it's like a lot of these games you see him finding the gap. It's like, well, sometimes you're just unlucky. What I would say is Volpe had some huge hits today. That double was big. I like his ability to hit, opposite field. I think he's done that more this year to start. I really do. And I really like the at-bats he's putting together. I thought Escara had some good moments. And Jason Dominguez, while I was getting on his defense, his bat is fun to watch because Michael K finally brought it up. No one ever really talks about it like they should. This guy has one of the best eyes on the team. He just does. And he's like, I don't understand how a kid this young is so disciplined. He said that. And I was like, this is what I've been saying. I'm like, Jason Dominguez has the most underrated batter's eye on this team because the only people that talk about it.
He's actually asking, he doesn't know how it's happening?
Well, no, like, he might have actually said that. I don't remember exactly, but he essentially was saying, it's really impressive how young this kid is and how disciplined he is as a hitter.
It's true. It's very Soto-esque because nobody teaches you that.
No.
It's nobody. What hitting coach across baseball? Everyone's talking about being on plane. Does a guy want to try and hit more homers? Is he going to try and flatten out his swing? That's what we did, right, with Anthony Volpe. Everyone said, well, the reason he's striking out and he's not getting the success he wants is because his launch angle. He's trying to launch the ball.
Yeah, let's not do anything with Volpe's swing. When he's hitting, let's just let him hit.
Don't tell me about your swing. Just hit the ball hard. That's what Volpe's doing. It's working. Yeah. But here's the interesting part. You mentioned that Michael K says, well, this is uncharacteristic for a player this age to understand the zone. He's been doing this since the minor leagues. That's called talent. That's talent.
Yeah.
That's just a guy that learned the game the right way. Some guys just understand the at-bat doesn't always have to end in a homer for me to be successful. Sometimes my walk in the first and third inning sets up how I'm pitched in the 7th or the 9th. That changes the outcome of the game. Maybe my job today was just to draw a walk, and I have a great at-bat in the 8th, and the dude behind me does the job. It makes you a better team. So I love that Michael K brings that up. Obviously, it makes it easy to do it when you have an amazing at-bat that he had today. And you go down to 0-2, you find a way on base. The Yankees over the years just don't do that. Obviously, it was refreshing watching Soto do it last year. You see 0-2, 1-2, you're thinking, oh, well, the pitchers sort of put us in a hole here. It's not going to work out. But baseball can be played a certain way where you can sort of grind your at-bat through and end up on first base when 95% of the league, they go down 0-2, they're an out. So good on Jason Dominguez. I think that will really help. And I also think, by the way, Jake, in his defense, with the defense, I don't think the defense has to get much better for him to be worth it for the Yankees. I think he's just got to rake. If he rakes, you just live with the defense and make everybody else on the field responsible for what happens on that end.
Well, also, Garrett, when I bring up the defense, it's because we have a podcast. I don't think this is something that everybody's like today, his defense, that nitpicky stuff about how like Verdugo probably makes that play in the field. That's just us being analysts, I think, on the show. Right. Like, I don't sit there and be like, oh, his defense is going to be the death of me. No.
Yeah, like he shouldn't play. Like, you're not saying that.
However, wasn't that long ago in March on a hot Tampa day, I was like, yeah, I'm over this. I was texting you. I'm like, he cannot play the outfield. He is horrendous. I love this kid. Like, I've been rooting for him for a while. I never want to see him have an outfield glove ever again. And
hey, by the way, remember I asked you to find that? I couldn't find it myself either, but it was sent to me by someone on X. And it was that, for those of you who saw the play, it was Pete Alonso hit a laser to left. I mean, it was no cheapie. It was a line drive to left field. And I saw Dominguez go back, and I was like, oh, well, this might go over his head. And then all of a sudden I see him kind of scoot forward. I'm like, where's the ball? Like, normally as a viewer, you can tell what's happening. Yeah. And the ball just lands right in front of him. I'm like, oh, so he had a top spin line drive. And I'm thinking, so if he didn't run back and then he ended up running forward and not being able to get forward to the ball, couldn't he have just run forward and catch this ball? So I was thinking maybe that ball was catchable. And obviously I said it in a way that leaves it open-ended. I have no idea, right? I'm not any analytic. Like, there's no analytic that has my name on it.
Gary.
Right. So somebody sent it to me today. That catch, it has 65% catch probability, so it should have been caught. So for those of you
That's not the first time that's happened, by the way.
Yeah,
all right.
There's your information.
I'm done picking on him. I really, really like him. That's why I wanted to mention the at-bats. And there's a lot of confidence. I still stand by it. I understand there's a weapon there if you can build him up as a, real switch hitter. But his lefty at-bats are astronomically better than his righty at-bats. It's not even remotely close. And I'm not the type of person here where I'm watching this and I'm like, it's just good to have him in the lineup, even if he's hitting righty. I would just rather have him hit lefty. And if they don't think that he can hit lefty, against lefties, then you know what my thing is? I don't think he should play then. Because I don't think that right-handed bat on that day is worth playing. I think there's a better option.
Because it has to be better. Because, first of all, not only... So I love that you bring this up, Jake. Yeah. Technically speaking, if a left-handed pitcher is starting, right? And tomorrow, you just so happen to have a left-handed starter going for the New York Mets on ESPN. Now,
Peterson.
In Peterson. Now, here's the crazy part. When you play Jason Dominguez, you're not only playing the right-handed bat of Jason Dominguez, right? And so there's that. You're also not playing who could possibly play in his shoes, right? That could be anybody. It could be Cody Bellinger, who has reverse splits. He has actually better numbers against lefty pitching. So you'd like to imagine Cody should be playing tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Then you imagine, well, Ben Rice is probably not going to start tomorrow since there's a lefty, which makes, again, I guess my point that in game 1, it was a little silly that Ben Rice didn't play, given that there's a lefty playing in game 3. So you assume you're not going to see a Ben Rice. So in my estimation, I'm probably using that as a situation to have Ben Rice sit, Jason Dominguez sit, guys like Grisham, Bellinger, those guys should be playing, because it's not just the at-bat you're taking out, it's whose bat you're leaving out for his right-handed at-bats. And then you'll have people, obviously, maybe not in our audience, but people on X, people on social media, fans of this team will say, well, look, he just got a hit right there. And it's like, well, he's not going to never get a hit. He's not going to never hit a home run. It's about what can no longer happen with those other options you've got. And we're suggesting some of those other options that the Yankees have on the bench that day would do more in that opportunity that you're giving Dominguez against lefties. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see what Aaron Boone does tomorrow. It's an interesting topic. Obviously, the Yankees want to develop his bat against left-handed pitching. I know all of us are looking at this as a big game. It's the rubber match. But what do you think's going to happen? Do you think Dominguez plays tomorrow?
No, I don't. So here's what I think they're going to do. Okay. They're going to go with catcher will be Austin Wells. First base is going to be Paul Goldschmidt. Second, they're going to keep LeMahieu in. Volpe. Third will be Peraza. Okay. Then left field will be what is it? No, you know what? I think one of them will play. I think they'll probably play Dominguez, but he'll be a DH tomorrow. That's what'll happen.
Oh, see, I think they're gonna DH Judge tomorrow. That's my take.
Oh, you do?
I think Judge is gonna DH. I think Grisham's gonna play center. I think Bellinger's gonna play. He probably should play left. And then who else would be in right?
Well, when he's off, who plays right? Why am I blanking?
I don't know. Hey, chat, you guys.
Isn't it Bellinger?
I feel like Bellinger should play. Yeah, I feel like is Bellinger, but shouldn't it be Jason Dominguez that plays right field? Hold on a second here. Shouldn't Jason Dominguez play right field when if Judge DHs, right? And you decide that you want to, let's just say you want to play Dominguez. Didn't they play Juan Soto in right field last year because they were like, he's not a good defender? So let's give him the easier defensive assignment and play right.
Yeah, Belly plays right for Judge. Okay. So
right.
I agree with you, though, because it was the same thing with Juan Soto. You don't want Juan Soto playing in left because people just they associate left field as the worst fielder, right? But with the Yankees' dimensions, it actually left plays like a right field, essentially.
It's very difficult to play left field at Yankee Stadium. There's a lot of obviously, we've got Death Valley out in left center field.
Yeah.
There's a lot of grass in left field. So I think it's interesting. We made that choice last year, and then this year, they're just like, no, Dominguez plays left.
So Dominguez will play tomorrow. Unfortunately, this is why exactly what you said for game one, Rice should have played, because now Rice ends up playing one game out of the three in the series, and it's like you don't want him to go cold, you know? You got to play Rice. So it's tough. But yeah, Peraza will definitely be at third tomorrow. I understand, I liked what you said about giving LeMahieu time. I think you do that when Jazz comes back, as long as he hits. But Gary, I got to be honest with you. LeMahieu needs the at-bats. And if he's going to hit like this, you have to keep him hitting like this. You have to keep him in the lineup. He needs to play every day. If he's cleared to go, he should be playing every day from here on out. He should.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to play well, that goes for any player on the team.
Yeah.
It doesn't. If you go out there, you play good baseball.
But I mean, he flashed the glove too. It wasn't just a nice day hitting. He also had a really good day in the field, I thought. So
ride the wave. And like I've always said, just because you want to play DJ LeMahieu now, that doesn't mean that you're expecting him to play in October. No, you just ride the wave of quality play. Like last year with Cabrera, opening month of the season, he was one of our better bats. Nobody expected that.
Yeah.
But we had to ride the wave of what he was doing. He was hitting 380. No, and people were saying, oh, he's going to be this, he's going to be that. And it's like, well, hold on a second. There's value to just being great for 3 weeks. We'll take it. So
Absolutely.
We're paying DJ LeMahieu a lot of money, and everyone wanted him off this roster, no opportunity to win a job, and that's totally fair to say. Completely fair. It's been a long time since he's given us an output. But as I mentioned earlier, DJ LeMahieu in years past was supposed to be this key cog on the team at the top of the lineup, and he's forcing his way back maybe earlier than he wants to be, or he's not 100% and he's continuing to play. DJ LeMahieu doesn't play for this roster at all if he's not 100%. So every time you see him out there, he should be 100%, and I guess we'll see what that version of him looks like.
We definitely will. Tomorrow's interesting, Gary. So we can move forward to Prophet X and wrap up the show. But tomorrow's interesting because the Yankees are playing the Mets, not a shock. But Max Fried, unlike a lot of these, because they're American League right now, Max Fried's pitched in the NL his whole career. A lot of these American League splits against Max Fried are very minimal. But you're talking about the Mets who have seen him quite a bit. I mean, we're talking about, Nimmo has seen him 14 games. McNeil's seen him 14 games, right? So there's definitely some experience there by the going against him. And McNeil is hitting 323 against him. So, there are definitely some numbers to look out for. But it doesn't appear anybody has hit a home run that's currently on the Mets versus Max Fried that I'm seeing here. So unless I'm reading it wrong. I'm not seeing any
No,
homers.
They have. Pete Alonso's hit 2, Lindor's hit 1. So, I mean, it's not a ton, but you don't need to hit a home run to be effective. The numbers suggest that the Mets, over the years, and of course we're talking about Fried's tenure with the Braves in division, well, the numbers suggest that Fried doesn't pitch well against the Mets. So something's got to give. And it's baseball. There is always something that can change. But Fried's been great. He's actually been better for the Yankees than at any point that he pitched for the Braves. And you never know what you could see. So it's going to be a tight game tomorrow. I'm going to assume, I know you're probably going to want to just hack the under. I can see it on you already.
I should have gone with my gut this time. Remember
I
said it was
told
the under?
you could. I told you you could. But I guess we'll see how the game goes tomorrow. Max Fried's aware of all these matchups. When you play guys and you've got, I mean, you can see the at-bats. You see 36 at-bats for Alonso, 31 for McNeil, 27 for Nimmo. That's like 10 games of work. It's a lot. So these guys are not going to be surprised by anything they see tomorrow. It's going to be location, execution, and obviously Yankees bats doing something about it with Peterson.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting. I think I will. I'm definitely going to take the under. Definitely. Like unapologetically. Yeah, it's a good bet. It wins more often than not when you think about it, because you're banking on more to happen. What's more likely, a pitcher to get a strikeout or a hitter to get a home run? Or a hitter to get a hit? Excuse me, hit.
Oh, well, obviously someone getting out. That's
yeah. So that's
certain,
that's why the under. Like, what's more likely, you to score a touchdown or you not to score a touchdown? You know what I'm saying? Like, the under is it's the bet that people don't. The whatever, the play, the
it's
pick,
not
whatever.
fun to say the under. You're not rooting for the pitcher.
You sit there and you sweat it out, but it wins more often than not, and especially when I have Max Fried on the mound, who gives up, in his awful outings, he gives up 1 run. That like his worst outing of the year was like 1 run he gave up. Well,
yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't
one.
like this matchup tomorrow. I don't like the idea that
they haven't seen Peterson at all, by the way. Right. I don't love that. But
I want to bring this up from Christopher, because I do think that there's some absolute value here in this. And this is obviously the simple understanding of what the Yankees do well and what the Yankees don't. And all teams in baseball have a weakness, per se, a way to attack them. 2 years ago for the Dodgers, it was, well, they can't hit left-handed pitching. So they bring in a Teoscar Hernandez, right? They make some moves, and then our rebuttal to that, we're going to bring in Cody Bellinger, lefty on lefty, takes great at bats. Paul Goldschmidt destroys lefties, that's his strength. So as time's gone on, you try and adjust your roster to adjust for what you don't do well. But Christopher says Peterson is a lefty, which the Yankees' biggest weakness. Yeah, the Yankees do not hit lefties. They haven't so far this year. So if something's going to change, I would love for it to change right now. But, in the break studio with the Super says, guys got to play tomorrow. Grisham, Rice now have cooled off. I don't really think they've cooled off. I think in general, Rice just isn't playing that much. He's just not. So
actually, you know what it reminds me of?
He sat game 1 against a righty. So I don't know.
What's up? Boone has a habit of doing this shit. This reminds me of when Oswaldo Cabrera was raking. And then when he started to slow down, it was because he stopped playing. So now he's playing every 4 days. Like, I think it takes you out of a rhythm. I do. Ben Rice's OPS is now 882 because he's going up there. He's getting 5 at-bats in a series, and we're not seeing him for another 5 at-bats for a series. Like, it's just, that's not conducive to keeping a hitter in a rhythm. It's just not.
No, I completely agree with you. It's conducive to keep guys healthy, right?
Yes.
Which seems to be the mission in having depth. Christopher says, sorry, Gary, but I think the numbers are in our favor. They are not. If a roster, okay, like, and mind you.
Well, I think Christopher's a Mets fan.
So why is he saying sorry, Gary? I just agreed.
I don't know.
Didn't I? I felt like I just went on. I feel like for 6 minutes there, I talked about how I don't like the matchups and I like it in the Mets' favor. I think the Mets have the upper hand.
Shout out to BC.
BC. Brother's never on topic. We jump in here. He's like, "Go Rams!" I'm like, "It is midnight. Go to bed." Team doesn't play for 4 months.
But that's love, though. I appreciate it. He's in here every single time, and he's in here for a decent amount because you see
we appreciate you, BC.
Yeah, I just wanted to shout. I actually met BC at the Rams-Jets game last year, so he's very tall. Remember, I told you that. I was like, the tallest man I've ever seen.
Yeah, you never expect anybody you meet on the internet to be over 5'7", but it is a shock.
Like athletes, okay, but like when you like, oh yeah, I'd like to meet you, and I was like, where are you? He's like, oh yeah, I'm really tall, and I was like, yeah, okay, I see that.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, tomorrow's game is on ESPN. I did mention it briefly earlier. Does that mean that we're just? Because I remember we used to get. Remember it was like Michael K, A-Rod. Is that dead? Is that not happening?
I don't know. I haven't seen any. There's been no like promotion for that. I don't really watch cable though, so I can't really tell you. Like, I haven't seen any ESPN ads or anything like that.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna be on Crack Stream tomorrow, so you don't have to worry about me. They're like, it's on ESPN. I'm like, it's on Crack Streams. I'm not watching it. People are like, did you just see that? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm in the 3rd inning.
You were way ahead of me the other day. I wanted to wring your neck.
I know. I don't know what happened. Sometimes Crack Streams comes through. We're almost ahead of the live game.
No, you were before the audience. You were into the future, like, because he's like, oh, that sucked. That wasn't, he should have caught that. And I'm like, what? It's like, the Yankees are hitting right now. Like, what? Who should have caught what? Like, and there's no way you're talking about the other team. So I'm like, what? And then I was like, oh my God, he's like an inning ahead of me. And it was so weird because I even hit the live button. All right, Gotham Sports is just awful. It's literally a public restroom, and I'm so tired of it.
Wait, you guys even try to use it?
Yeah, it's all I use.
Gotham Sports? They're just trying too hard with that name. I'm sorry.
I know.
We're just trying way too hard. It's so millennial. Gen Z?
Yeah.
Where they're just
Well,
Gotham
it was the
Sports.
Yes Network app, the Yes app, and I was like, okay, that's cool. But you know what's so annoying about Gotham? People like the public restroom comment, apparently. The Gotham Sports app, you know what pisses me off, Gary? is what it'll occasionally do, and is during the year, right? The Knicks would be playing the regular season game, and the Devils, I'm also a Devils fan, I like the Devils, they'd be playing a game, and then the Rangers are playing a game, and the Yankees are playing. But I'm used to the Yankees being on the front page, and lo and behold, they are the 4th team in like this carousel. So here I am, like freaking out because I don't see it, and I'm like, oh no, are they on Amazon Prime? I go on Amazon Prime, not on Amazon Prime. I'm like,
so then
okay,
you went back.
No. Then I'm like, okay, maybe they're on Apple TV. Nope, not on Apple TV. Are they on? Like, I start freaking out, and I go back, and they're still not. So I'm starting to, and then the Espanol one pops up. And I couldn't find the other one. So I literally watched it in Spanish. It was a while ago. It was like earlier in the season.
The broadcast in Spanish still was probably better for English speakers than what's her name? Remember the girl for the A's who calls the games?
I feel bad saying
line
that.
Drive to left field. She's like, and that ball is way out of here. I'm like, are you in a bathroom or are you talking about a baseball game? Get hype.
I'll never forget Siri. What was it? Jose Siri.
Oh yeah, she's like, Siri, it is not your night.
And then
your next pitch.
It's the walk-off home run.
Destroyed. I mean, the ball was destroyed, and he just pimped the hell out of it, which you just love to see. And we're obviously huge fans of Mason Miller, and we know what she was trying to do. She was essentially trying to lean into the fact that Mason Miller's untouchable, which for the most part he is. No one touches him. He literally saw Juan Soto last year and was like, here's 3 heaters, go sit down. That's exactly what happened. You mentioned it yesterday. So I don't know.
Siri, this is not your night. Boom. I was
like, you're right. It's a career night.
Yeah.
Go catch this ball.
God, that was so funny. I forgot about that for a second. But yeah, tomorrow they're on ESPN. I have no idea who's broadcasting it. I don't even remember who was in the booth. I don't. I know Joe Buck did that first game.
Dude, our chat is actually really funny to read right now. I don't know if you're doing this. I normally don't get sidetracked with it, but someone brought up that And mind you, we're happy he's here because it's all fun. I mean, this is just sports anyway. We're all just wasting our time. But Metro Poly says Mets win game 3 10-0, right? Freed craps the bed. All in good fun. He's just busting our balls. But people are saying, hey, why don't you go ahead and center that Mets logo? It is pretty funny how it's like way in the corner. I think maybe this is big brain. Maybe he knew in the chat. Maybe he knew in the chat that little YouTube plus, logo was going to be in the way.
Yep.
So he got big brain and put it up in the corner.
I think you're giving him too much
We'll
credit.
see what he has to say about it, but I'll be interested. So Jake, we're going with the under, I think, with Profit X. And if you guys are going to use Profit X, make sure you guys use code YANKSU.
Yes.
Helps us out a ton.
It's not up currently, so I can't I'm not going to just put it up.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you guys are there, you can wait for it to be up. We're going to take the under. I think we both agree on that. Let's figure out total bases, and we'll do this quickly. I think the Yankees there's actually no one in our lineup that, well, I guess we technically can take total bases from the other team. I'll take total bases from Alonso. There you have it. He hasn't had a big hit yet. I'm taking Alonso on total bases. Don't know that I'm taking the Yankees outright tomorrow. I just don't know. But Fried's been great. So I'm just taking the Yankees just because. Why not just take your team because you want them to win? What's so big deal about that?
I'm going to go with the under, whatever it is. Don't care. The under for the 1 through 5 innings.
You don't care who's pitching or who's hitting?
Nope. No, obviously the pitching is a big deal for me, taking the under. So 1 through 5 innings, I'm taking the under.
Okay.
Not for the full game because that'll be when the Yankees put up an 8 or something in the, 6th inning or something. I'm not trying to lose like that. So Yankees, I'm going to give them the win. I'm going to go with the Yankees win under in 1 through 5 innings. I'm going to go with total bases. I'm going to take Grisham tomorrow. I feel like, he's been a little cold in this series. Hasn't really made his stamp. Had a chance today in a very tight spot. I think people just kind of assume, oh, you're a pinch hitter, get it done. Pinch hitting is got to be the worst feeling. I hated pinch hitting. I'd come in and be like, I'm not warmed up at all, and now I have to grab a bat in a game that I wasn't even a part of, and I have to save it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like your average, this is how I would look at pinch hitting, right? Hear me out. Your average is half. It's cut in half when you pinch hit. So if you are a 400 hitter, you're a 200 hitter as a pinch hitter. If you are a 250 hitter, you're a 125 hitter as a pinch hitter.
Unless you're Stan.
Because how often are pinch hitters consistently good? It's kind of, in a way, it's like pulling the goalie in a hockey game. It works sometimes.
I think the only good pinch
most of the time
usually,
it doesn't.
Other than Stan, because Stan is the anomaly. He cannot hit it all off the bench.
Yes.
But
he just can't,
he cannot do it.
No, stop it. We're not doing DJ LeMahieu home run again.
He's going to take another random player. He is. He's going to be like, Wells is going deep tomorrow.
No, I'm going with. I'm going to say
I'm going
Grisham.
with the obvious. I'm going with Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt's hitting a home run for. He's the best hitter we've got against lefties. He's literally the best hitter on this team against left-handed pitching.
Wait, what are the splits for Trent Grisham? Is he even good against lefties? Am I just putting myself in a bad spot here?
Well, I can just go ahead and find it for you. Trent Grisham, this is the first good year of his career. He's never had a good year ever.
That makes sense.
Before this. So no matter what you find. Oh, you mean in 2025, what's he doing against lefties? That's a good question.
Yeah, because I don't really care about his career splits because he's having an anomaly season. So he basically throw his stats out the window until he starts reverting back to that.
Yes.
He is. So he's hitting 276 right now, 980 OPS. He has a 955 OPS the last 7 games, over 1,000 the last 14. But against lefties here, he has, let's see. Oh, yeah. He's got 2 home runs, but he's hitting 237 with his 750 OPS. Not quite against righties. Okay. He's got a batting average of balls in play at 292, though.
So I'm going to take Grisham for the total bases.
Okay. Christopher says there's going to be an alien invasion.
What the hell does that mean?
He's calling the most impractical thing ever. Jason Dominguez, the alien, is going to hit a homer from the right side. If Christopher's right on this,
or maybe he's actually like trying to call that there's going to be an alien invasion, like on the field.
I'm putting a plaque up here that just says Christopher member.
Yeah.
If he gets that right, I mean, this is nuts.
If you see a UFO in the background, that counts too.
Yeah, it'll fall down. So is that it? Is that everything?
All right. So yeah. Well, I got to do a dinger for the road because who do you have? Paul Goldschmidt.
Paul Goldschmidt's already hit a homer. I promise you, it's happening.
He's already done it.
Yep.
You're from the future too. We've already established that. So
it's true.
I'm gonna go back to the well here. I'm gonna go with Anthony Volpe. I like the way Volpe.
Jake's just gonna say Volpe's hitting a homer tomorrow,
every
day till he's right.
Every night. Yep. And then I'm right, and I'll be like, boom, told you. And
that's how we look like a genius podcast. You just say the same player every day.
Yeah, but then just delete the previous or like unlist the previous videos so no one can. It's like you hide your. There's no paper trail. But yeah, no, I'm gonna go with Volpe. I like the way he's hitting the ball. Okay. I think he's gonna go Oppo. So yeah,
I like it. Is that it? Is that everything?
So Yankees win under 1 through 5 innings, and I got Trent Grisham total bases and Anthony Volpe hitting a home run. Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay, and then what do we put in the chat? Now, mind you, this is the chat after the live is done. In the video, you go in there and drop in. I love the idea of putting a random baseball player. How about this?
I want to keep that up.
Give us a random reliever. Any random reliever that you can think of in baseball history. A name that we don't talk about often. Yeah, drop that in the comment section.
Who are you giving?
Byung Kim.
That was quick. I'm going to go with Faustino de los Santos. The most
I thought you were going to say something else. I was like, what the hell?
The most random. No one can beat me on that because there's no way anybody even knows who that is. He pitched for the A's. He was just really good in my the show one year. Like he had a .002 ERA.
Yeah, our audience isn't just a bunch of 16-year-olds like many other podcasts. So I think we're going to get some good names. So I'm looking forward to this. So drop in a reliever that you can think of in baseball history. Not in the live chat. We will not see that. Drop it in on the video afterwards. We're going to go in there and read those. So we appreciate you guys.
Yes, we do appreciate you. Be sure to like the video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Drop that comment. Random relief pitcher. And we'll why don't we do this? We'll read those on the show. We'll just go through really quick.
A couple of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, yes, we'll read the most creative ones.
I was going to say, because if we read all of them, it'll be like a Harry Potter intro where they're like, brought to you by, produced by. I hate that about movies. So,
yeah, we won't do that. So,
subscribe.
We'll read the cool ones.
Yeah, subscribe, like the video.